G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. So it's chilly winter weather for us here. It's lovely sunny days, but it's 9 degrees in the morning, and that's for us Queenslanders. That's where's Willy weather. I think next Saturday, Sunday, it says we might be down to 7 or something like that. But 23 through the day, so they're lovely sunny clear days. Yeah, good working weather, that's for sure. And there's a bit of breeze around. Yesterday morning it was nice and still like it is this morning. No shed rattling or anything like that. And but later in the afternoon the wind whistled in and away it went. So yeah, we couldn't keep going with that. But yeah, look, it's lovely days. And Friday evening we had the kids over for dinner and we had the fireplace going in the pool room. And yeah, it's not bad weather at all. You hop out of the house and it's nice and refreshing, grab a breath of fresh air and away you go. So I got my coat in the shed here, but I don't know, I haven't got round to putting that on yet, so it can't be too bloody cold in here, eh? But outside the shed it is, but inside here it seems, well, I've left the end doors open to stop any sneaky breezes coming through the back. We call them mother-in-law's breath. You know, that cold wind down the back of your neck. Whew. Anyway, better leave the old girls alone. Pardon me. Bit of asthma from playing with the dust. Yeah, through the week, I didn't get much done down this end of the shed through the week with the gearbox. The bearings came, which I was waiting on, the S40781 ones. They came for the front of the top shaft, but I didn't get a chance to do any filming through the week. We had some good bits of ply came in from the shop, and as you know, I do some like community work, just making crosses for the Gladstone Seafarers Centre. And they asked me a while ago, did I have any more? And I said, look, the spindle in the CNC router burnt out, and yeah, I couldn't do them for the moment. But anyway, I bought an air-cooled spindle. I took the water-cooled one out and put an air-cooled one in, and look, it seems to be going fine. Yeah, I'd give it a blow out and keep the dust out of it, and seems to be going well. So the box that I got the short motor in, for the Ford 4100 out the back, yeah, it was a nice 6mm ply. So I cut some out of that, and then at work the other day, on the bottom of a pallet they had a big sheet of ply, just the right size. I could cut it down, and out of that one piece of ply I had to cut it to 600 wide because it was 1200 wide. Cut it to 600 wide and I could get 69 crosses out of each one. So I've got those 69 crosses, what's that, 138 crosses all CNC'd out. I've still got to sand them and trim them and things like that to go under the laser, but I've got 178 done under the laser, ready to go up, and I've got another 138 cut out. And John was telling me he's got a brass brand made so he can heat it up and just stamp them, which might be quicker than lasering them. So I might send up some blanks and see how he goes with that. So, but yeah, a couple of afternoons through the week, instead of working down this end, buggering around, I went up the other end, and I thought I'd get that out of the way. It was on my mind that I was letting the team down a bit if I didn't get my finger out. So yeah, I've got 178 done and 138 ready to rock and roll. Go under the laser once I sand them, and I've sanded the end off my thumb. And what happens, I hold the random orbit sander, air sander here, and I just run it round, and then I flatten out the back just so there's no splinters. No one gets a splinter while they're tidying them up, and they take them up and they do sand them a little bit more. But the side that you laser, I usually turn that over and make sure that's quite flat, so the laser's not trying to burn over humps and hollows and things like that. So when you're holding this 6mm ply onto the sander, yeah, you don't notice it for a while. Next thing you see, drops of blood on them. What's going on there? So anyway, I had to put a Band-Aid on. I'd keep wearing through the Band-Aids, but anyway, that kept them clean. So I put a lot of time, like yesterday was all day up that other end doing those, and the cycle on the laser is 3.5 minutes per cross. So multiply that by 178, that's how much time I was just at the laser. And then I tried to do a batch, 3 across the board sort of thing. I thought that might be quicker. And it's funny, different plies obviously made it something slightly different. And you'll do a run in one piece of ply, then the next piece of ply comes on, your next batch comes on, and well, you've got to speed it up or slow it down or something like that. But I think we're doing 1250 millimetres a minute on the 20 watt Auteur laser, and I thought I'd batch them across, but because it still only does 1250 in between them, doing 3 it gives you on light burn, it tells you how long to burn them, and to do 3 it was going to take 21 minutes. So I went back to just doing 1, and you burn an outline and just sit him on and away you go. Then you don't have to burn that outline each time, you just do the writing. So I sat there till 5 o'clock yesterday evening, and probably almost up past 5 yesterday evening, and got a heap done for them. So look, that's good. Even having CNC routed, I didn't need to route that extra ply out, but I thought, well, sometimes ply hangs around the shed and you get a bit of moisture in it, or it just goes out of shape a little bit, and then it makes the job a bit harder, so I do it while I could. So it works out. You can have the CNC working over here and you're sanding here and you're still swapping the laser out there, so you got 3 functions going. But it was all day Sunday, and 2 afternoons through the week from 2 till 6. So I've put like 2 days in, complete days in so far. So that's going to do for a while. The ones that aren't burnt yet, I'll probably keep them as spares, and if they run out again, I'll worry about that then. So, but look, it was good to not be mechanicking and buggering around and get up the end there and play with the wood. It's refreshing. It's something nice to do. So I wasn't minding it. It was just a good thing. With the bearings, I was planning today on finishing the top shaft on the 65 box. Now I have the bearings, then I can bolt the planetary on and put the input shafts and the PDO drive gear and all that in. But I'm having sound troubles. At the moment, I bought the new Tascam DR60, I think it is. Yeah, it's a 60. And I took the card out of the old Tascam, the DR70, and I put in to the 60, and it says invalid card. Card's no good. So I thought, oh, that's odd. So I put it back in the 70, and the 70 says it's fine. So I had one of those little mini SDs, so I put an adapter on that and put it in, and it said invalid card. So I put it in the computer and I formatted it and put it back in, and it says, no, invalid card. And so I don't know. The Tascam DR70 card, I downloaded everything onto a file in my laptop. So I had a backup, then I formatted that card, and I thought, right, I'll format that. It'll think it's got a brand new card in it, and away we go. Well, I did that, and it's still saying invalid card, not recognised, change the card to a new one. So I'm not sure what's going on. They're both older cards, so I might pop into town one afternoon through the week and grab a new card and see. I'm just not sure why it's telling me we have an invalid card. So I've got a bit to sort out there, but that takes, through the day, the shed creaks and groans, as you know if you watch some of my early videos, and that I can dial that out, and it gives us a far cleaner sound. So today I tried to hook the Tascam under the camera this morning and then run the microphones. I'm still running these Rode wireless mics, but this morning I've got the mic here going to the receiver on top of the camera and just feeding straight into the camera, so there's no filtering at all. It's just warts and all sound. But I find when I do this, I do get a clearer sound because the camera with the microphone coming to me here, it picks up more other stuff. But if I just have the and sometimes too, when you just have your voice on it, it blanks out the back sound anyway. It goes in for your voice. It picks that up. So this morning the stew was just this microphone on the top, straight into the side. Now, I could have put the microphone straight through the Tascam, the new Tascam, and then instead of recording on the Tascam, I can bring it around and plug it into the camera, so that I am getting a filtered sound into the camera, but it's not a separate recorded track. And I like to work with the separate recorded track so that if the separate recorded track stuffs up, you know, probably Lance stuffs up, the camera has a backup soundtrack there that I can use. So I do have a safety soundtrack, even though it's not as refined or not as clean. So, but to do that, I need a TRS cable. Now, the cable that you would plug into your iPhone or something like that, it's a TRRS. And when you look at the little tip that you poke into the microphone hole, it's got 4 brass sections around it. Now, the TRS on the camera that I need, that the microphones use, it's just got 3 bands. So from when I was buggering around earlier with iPhones and microphones and things like that, I've got a few TRRS cords, but no TRS. So I couldn't hook the sound through the Tascam under the other. So I've been an hour and a half buggering around with that this morning. I was starting to get the shits with it. I was thinking, up this, I'm just going to put the microphone on the top and we'll hope for the best. So the sound may or may not be good. It's quiet at the moment, so I think it'll probably be okay. We'll just see how it goes, but we'll keep an eye out. But I presume everything's okay. I used to have the camera set up so I could just see the sound bars down the bottom, but once I went through the other system there, well, I didn't have to worry about that. So I'll probably put that back. But in saying that, I might get the sound sorted out before I do the filming of the gearbox, because and I'll go up the house, up in my little machine shop. I do have some cables up there, and I'll try and scrummage through that and see if I have a TRS cable. So we'll see. I may be able to save the day yet. We'll just see. But it's been a bloody pain in the arse. And yeah, so I'll have to sit down and read the book with the Tascam 60 and see what the story is. I could probably plug the TR70 back in and start putting batteries in, but I thought, no worries, I'll just use this one. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Friday afternoon I was washing tractors and loading them up, and then Saturday we went into a tractor show in at the precinct in town here, which is, you know, the old Agro Trend grounds, and there was a heritage car show, and they had cars, trucks, machinery, tractors and all that sort of thing there. So our club, Rum City Vintage Machinery Club, they had a good display of engines there. There was, look, I can't remember, 9 or 10, we'll probably see later, there's a bit of footage later, but a row of Pt1 tractors. Yeah, I've never seen, in our normal shows we don't get so many, but the fellas from Maribor bought them up, and yeah, just everyone in town that had one bought one up. I could have bought one, but I took the 135, and the theme was old and new, so they asked me would I put the 135 up on the Massey Ferguson stand, and they could see this old 135 done up next to a nice new tractor. So I did that, had a yarn to the fellas and did that for them, and so it went up there. But there was a couple of Farmalls, a Fordson, a row of TE20s, my 135, and look, that might about wrapped it up, I think, for tractors. There's family in the club, the Kemps, and they live at Gayndah, and they had a gazebo there, so we put our chairs up and we just had a yarn there, and they got the 3 young lads, and they're old enough to, well, they're out working. So yeah, so I handed one of them the DJI Pocket 2, and handed one of them the action camera, and I was, there you go fellas, just go and take a bit of footage, whatever you like, take it till the batteries run flat. So I haven't looked at the footage yet, but I'll have a look and I'll tack it onto the end of this, and if it's too long, I'll have a Stu part 2 with the videos on. I played around on Friday or Thursday evening with, it was a nice clear sky, so I played around with the time lapse again, and I sat it out to the northwest where the big gum tree is. We've got a big gum tree on the other side of the dam, and the sun was reflecting on that beautifully. So I set the camera up, and you can see it slowly go dark, and it's about a minute, a little over a minute anyway, the video. What I need to do is put it out there for longer, and I think I had 5 or 6 second intervals between the snaps. You know, it takes a photo, then puts them together really. So I put that together, and yeah, look, I think it's all right. I haven't seen it on a big screen yet, but I need to put those intervals to 15, 20, 30 seconds. So, and what that does, over a time, you can actually see more movement, and you can see movement, but with the 5 second one, you sort of look at it and it's a bit boring. It takes ages to change, sort of thing. And I will work out, like, some of it's just a dark sky and you can see a bright star there, and I was expecting that to be moving a bit, but in a 2 hours, 5:30, 3 hours. I set it out there for 3 hours for a 1 minute video, and I expected to see that move, but on the little screen on the camera, I wasn't sure if it moved or not. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I'll have a look in editing and see what it turns out to be. The footage that the Kemp boys took of the car show, I just said, go and take pictures of shit and just whatever you like, you know, just press the buttons and away you go. And I got one of them to shift me tractor. As the engine boys sort of, they unload their engines, and you're waiting to get your tractors, and you know, there's a bit of a thing in clubs, the engine blokes and the tractor blokes. And anyway, we don't mind who it is, but the engine blokes seem to don't like the tractor blokes much. I don't know, it's just bullshit that goes in clubs sometimes. You can just see, oh, well, you know, we're doing this, and yeah, it's an engine club, but it's not really, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, when they got out of the way, finally, I got one of the Kemp lads to shift me tractor, and he parked it crooked. So I was up him then, you know, but yeah, who parked this bloody thing, you know, just having a bit of a josh around. Yeah, so I wouldn't mind betting there's something on the footage. He sort of hinted to it, there's something on the footage about me parking crooked up the other end there. So we'll see. If it's there, I'll leave it in, warts and all. Yeah, so it may be good fun. I met another fella down there, he had a nice Pt1, Andy, and he has some really nice Bedford trucks. And he had a lovely J1 there, a beautiful green one. And then there was 3 Bettys they come up, and they bought Fergies on the back of them. He bought a TEA and a TEF and Farmall A, I think, up. And yeah, chatting to him about the old Betty here. And yeah, I don't want to paint the Bedford. Like, it's a good original old truck, but I may buff it back. So yeah, I thought, oh, that'd be nice. Like, you know, just to pop a Fergie on the back or something like that and take it into that show. It just would have been a nice thing to do, or just take the Bedford in for a run. So yeah, I might pop it on the hoist and give it a clean and just see what's wrong with the brakes, and I'll do a list and see what I need for roadworthy anyway. I might do the list and be shocked and run out of ink and have to yeah, rethink. But anyway, we'll see. One afternoon last week, I got the David Brown hydraulic control valve, the Selectomatic valve, out of the old 880 out the back. And you can recall, I showed last week where it had a water stain around the spool, and it had a little track down on the land of the spool. So I got the bore scope going, and I took the valve up onto my bench up in my little machine shop, and I put the bore scope down. And it was a bit hard to see because it was a bit shiny in there, and then yeah, it's got a light where you can have a light off, a low light or a high light, and I played with that trying to get it so I could well, it won't take a video, but it will take a photo. So I fiddled with that a little bit, and as I brought it out, you can see the furthest away holes, you can see a perfect circle underneath. Then the second hole, you can see a perfect circle, but the third hole down this end, you can see it's out of shape a bit. And I took a photo with it. It's got an SD card in it, so I've taken a photo, and I'll put the photo in here. And you can see there's a slight little, a little feathered edge down the bottom there. So what that means is that the sleeve that the valve goes into is crook as well. So that valve is toast unless I press the sleeve out, make a new sleeve, make a new valve to fit, lap them in, and get all that going. So that's something I'd probably have a crack at. Yeah, but I'll sort of explain something, and if I show you a little diagram here. Okay, so yep, you can see that. If I get this light out of the way. Okay, so this is the sleeve, and this is the valve, and the land on the valve, right, I've got a little bit of a rust area through there. So that means that the oil, when the valve sits up here, the oil can come around the corner and feather before it should. It should stay there until that land clears. So because my valve is only marked in one spot, you would think I would be able to turn the valve, say 90 degrees, so that I had the sharp edge of the valve against the sleeve here, and that would stop that leaking that I was saying. You know, I had to take the valve an extra 30 thou roughly to stop it leaking and let it build up pressure so I could do the other tests. So once I move the spool down and I block the gallery off, I can build up enough pressure to test your cylinder relief and all that sort of thing. So, but it didn't matter where I turned that valve, I couldn't do it. And so what's happened is this corner here, it's dropped off as well. So it doesn't matter where I put the valve there, this edge here, it has to be 30 thou down, the valve has to be 30 thou down, and it's not the valve that's causing the trouble, it's this here. So it's a feathered edge here around the hole. So I can have a sharp edge there, but it still doesn't matter because the sleeve's buggered. So that explains why. That explains why it didn't matter where I turned the valve, because I was trying it out, and I don't think I mentioned it, but I was trying it out where I'd turn the valve, say 90 degrees or 20 degrees or something, just turn it a bit to see if it would stop leaking, and it just wouldn't. So there's one or two things I can do, I suppose, and one is work with that valve, press the sleeve out, copy it, press the new one in, and then get a really nice lapped finish inside there, and then make the new control valve, even if it's a thou bigger or a thou smaller, it won't matter a toss, it'll match that bore. So look, that's doable. There's 3 sets of ports in the side there, and if we bored it, got a really fine finish on it, reamed it and got a nice finish on it, then drilled the holes, then reamed it, run the ream through again, we could probably get a really nice internal sleeve finish, a nice finish on it. And then I'd probably make up a dummy valve that's a little bit smaller and get some jeweler's rouge or something like that and lap the inside so we knew it was nice inside, and then make the valve to suit. That's an option. I may press it apart anyway because I can't use it how it is. Well, I've got to think about it a bit more yet. Now the valve in the 880 tractor that's running, the one I bought recently, I know the spool is stuck in that, and because the diamond plate near the bypass and hold valves wasn't on it. I reckon moisture's got in the top there, and that's what's seizing it. So whether I can get that valve out or not, I don't know, and it may be just the same. Who knows? Yeah, with moisture and being so the valve was actually stuck, that, you know, it may be more rust in there than the original one that I've got up there now. So, and the other option is to just adjust everything 30 thou. Yeah, the valve comes down 30 thou more, so, or up 30 thou more. I can't bloody remember now. So yeah, well, we've got to do a bit of thinking about that. Cold weather gives you dribbly noses. So yeah, we've got to have a look at that yet and see how that goes. Make a decision one way or another. Before I pulled that 880 apart, I was hoping to do a video on a quick diagnosis on, you know, doing your pressure tests and all that sort of thing. And I was hoping to have a look at the PTO box, but I just don't get enough time in my days. Yeah, I'm up at 4:35 in there somewhere. I'm at work by 6-ish, round there. I come home 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoons and try and get stuff done around here, and I go till 5 or 6 in the evening, and I do that Monday to Saturday, so I do that for 6 days. Then Sundays I get up and come up the shed, but Sundays are really looking after the property if I can, and mowing and slashing, and that has to come into some afternoons as well. So yeah, I just don't get bloody time. I keep busy, but the projects chug along. But I'll go and have a good scrummage round shortly and see if I can find the proper cable to set the task cams up on top of the camera or under the camera or near the camera or some bloody way, and see if I can run the sound through it, just so yeah, when you watch the 65 series, you don't have videos with reasonable sound, then you got this one bloody rattly shitty one, and we go from there. So I've got recorded all up to that, but last week I just didn't get time. We had reps come through, and at work, I often do the editing at work. On Tuesday morning I start editing and I start doing emails, and there might be 100, 150 messages to sort out. I don't do my Gmails on the weekend. I stay away from that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday I've usually got a big long build up. So anyway, see what happens. The crow's foot, the spanners, there's the other ones I showed you last week that Grumpy Dave gave me years ago, and I got a socket rail and put the new ones on, the crow's feet. Now yeah, we call them crow's feet over here too, or crow's foot spanners. I've got a heap of these things, and I've got them single hex for doing brake lines right down to, look, 10 mil 3/8 I think. But yeah, they'll go in the socket drawer now. Now, whoops, now we can keep it all tidy. In Australia, we've got a Fergie club called the Harry Ferguson Tractor Club of Australia, and they put out a nice booklet, and this month they covered when Jude and I went down to the Fergie muster, and yeah, and gave them a hand. So there's yeah, there's me here, that's Bob the president, and that's us bloody posing, pair of posers. If Bob's beard was a bit longer, he'd bloody nearly look like me. Anyway, and, yeah, they did a nice write-up on us, page 10 and 11, on us going down there and buggering around. But look, if you're down the Lake Goldsmith, down near Ballarat, down near Lake Goldsmith, twice a year they have a steam rally on, and the Fergie shed's open with all the stuff, and they all have nice displays on, and that's where we were. So yeah, Lake Goldsmith has its own Facebook page and website and all that sort of thing, so have a look there. it's well worth a look. I was really pleased I bothered to go over there and have a look. And in this month, which is the month of May, there's an application for membership. So if you want to be a member, this is a tear out thing. So if you want to be a member and you'd like me to email that form to you, email me at bundybearsshed@gmail.com, and I'll be taking this out, scanning it, and giving anyone a copy that needs one. We do have them at the counter at work too, I believe. Well, that's if we haven't run out, I suppose. And also the Harry Ferguson Tractor Club of Australia website. You'll see a Queensland Tractor Spares ad and a bit of Bundy Bear shed stuff there. Judy and I, we sort of sponsor the website, and every year when the fees come due, we pay them. Queensland Tractor Spares pays them just to help out. But yeah, there's some pictures of tractor treks. They love their tractor treks, and yeah, restoring tractors and things like that. So yeah, look, just jump on. There's a Harry Ferguson Tractor Club of Australia website, and there's even the membership stuff there. It's for a family, it's $60 a year, 60 Australian dollars a year, plus $5 admin for your first year. But like for our $60, that covers Lance and Judy and grandkids. So yeah, I got Arrow and Airy. I don't think I put them on this year because I didn't use them last year, but you can bring your kids in as part of the family thing for that, and they all get their own membership card and all that sort of thing. So yeah, have a think about that. It's probably worth doing. They have a motorsports insurance policy, so if you're out and about on your tractor as a member of the Harry Ferguson Tractor Club, well, you have insurance there. So yeah, if you go to another show or that, it covers you for other shows. You know, they say, oh, you've got to have insurance before you're allowed to bring your tractor in. I suppose that's worldwide, but that's what happens in Australia. You have to have insurance, and the Harry Ferguson Tractor Club insurance policy, it covers you for that as well. But in Queensland, our club, the Rum City Vintage Machinery Club, has ACRA. It's our one, but the NHMA, National Historic Machinery Association of Australia, they started the ACRA one because back in the day, the NHMA was a bit of an old boys club, and they'd go to shows and things like that, and the executive, they'd be staying in motels and eating out and doing all sorts of things, and the old working man didn't quite get a run. But look, they've had a bit of a change of the guard, and it appears real. It seems to be back on track. They seem to be open, transparent, where one time with the old boys, it's what they said or you could piss off. So that's all changed. So it seems like a good thing now. Yeah, they seem to have it all sorted out, and yeah, we have the ACRA one that we're in. Yeah, there's a heap of clubs in it, in the ACRA one. I don't know how far it goes, but yeah, we'll see. But look, that's all for this week. Yeah, looks like my morning's going to be taken up with sound equipment and things like that for a little while, and if I can get that sorted out, I'll film the rest of the gearbox, which I want to do. I haven't made the shafts yet, the shafts for the throw out, but yeah, the brake shafts and all that have been reamed, and yeah, the bushes have been reamed and things like that. I'm not sure if I told you last week I had to ream the bushes, but for the brake shafts, but anyway, I had to. But yeah, I would like to get that done, and if I can get that gearbox on the back of that engine there, boy, I'll feel like I'm getting places. And then we'll move back onto the hydraulics at the back. That's something now I've got the tools I bought off those old blokes over the years. Yeah, I'm pretty keen to give that a crack, but anyway, we'll see. But look, I'll shut up. There'll be a bit of video, there'll be some videos either at the end of this, Stu, or there'll be a part 2, depending on how long I've rambled on. And thanks for your time again. Have a good week, everyone, and all being well, we'll see you next week, eh? See ya.